Your money tonight and what's happening with new and used cars. Many new cars being sold before they even reach the lot, and used car prices soaring up to 45%.
You've been told the car market is strong. That's a lie. And here's the proof. Behind the glossy ads and record sticker prices, dealers are suffocating under inventory no one wants. The numbers are shocking, the fallout is personal, and the silence from automakers should terrify you. Why are vehicles that once symbolized prestige now poison for dealers? How did the cracks get this wide without warning? And most importantly, what does it mean for your next purchase? Nissan Murano. When you walk into a dealership in September of 2025 and see row after row of shiny mid-size sport utility vehicles, there is one particular model that stands out for all the wrong reasons. That machine is the Nissan Murano. And in the current market, it has become a cautionary tale for what happens when production outpaces demand. The Murano nameplate has been around since the early 2000s, once praised for its futuristic styling and comfortable ride. Over the years, however, consumer tastes shifted, competitors became sharper, and the Murano began to look more like a relic than a leader. Dealers across the United States are dealing with a stockpile that borders on overwhelming. Industry analysts have calculated a day's supply figure of 189. To translate that figure into practical terms, if not a single new Murano rolled off the production line starting today, it would take dealers 189 full days, over half a calendar year, to clear out the existing inventory based on the current pace of sales. For context, the healthy industry benchmark is closer to a 60-day or at most a 90-day supply. Anything above that range signals stagnation, and the Murano is nearly double those preferred levels. The raw numbers tell an even starker story. Nationwide, there are nearly 20,000 Murano vehicles sitting in dealer lots. During the previous 45 days, fewer than 5,000 units were sold. That means for every 4 vehicles shipped to a dealership, only 1 is finding a buyer. Dealers are being squeezed. Floor plan financing charges continue to accumulate, and sales managers are forced to stack incentives, rebates, and discounts on the hood just to generate test drives. The average transaction price for the Murano has climbed to an eye-opening 47,000 United States dollars. Once upon a time, the Murano was considered a value-minded crossover, but today it is priced close to premium territory without offering the cachet or the modern technology that shoppers expect at that level. Why did Nissan find itself in this situation? Part of the answer lies in production decisions. Because the Murano is manufactured in the United States, Nissan leadership believed they could boost domestic output quickly and flood the market with supply. The problem is that consumer interest has not matched that surge. While the vehicle did receive updates in recent years, many critics still see it as dated compared to rivals that boast advanced hybrid drivetrains, cutting-edge infotainment systems, and sharper design language. Shoppers who are willing to spend close to 50,000 United States dollars often look toward luxury-branded alternatives, leaving the Murano squeezed in a no-man's land between mainstream affordability and true upscale appeal. The Murano's story in September of 2025 demonstrates a larger theme in the current automobile industry. Building more vehicles than the market can absorb is a recipe for slow sales, ballooning inventory, and frustrated dealers. It also serves as a warning sign to manufacturers about the delicate balance between production volume and real demand. Sliding away from the tale of Nissan's oversupply, our countdown shifts gears once again. The next entry is not merely about volume or miscalculated pricing. It is about a luxury badge that is struggling to convince buyers it offers anything beyond a dressed-up version of a mainstream product. Let us now roll onward to the number 6 spot on the list. If you've made it this far, you clearly care about what's really happening in the market. So hit that like button to let us know this breakdown matters to you. And drop a comment below. Tell us which vehicle on this list surprised you the most. Your take fuels future videos. Infiniti QX55. Step deeper into the shadows of unsold inventory, and you will quickly encounter a luxury badge that seems to have lost its shine. The Infiniti QX55 was intended to be a bold, stylish answer to the surge of coupe-inspired sport utility vehicles, a statement of Nissan's premium ambitions under the Infiniti name. Instead, in September of 2025, it has become a prime example of how sleek sheet metal cannot disguise deeper struggles with brand positioning and consumer confidence. The headline figure is almost impossible to ignore. The Infiniti QX55 carries a staggering 210 days supply. In simple terms, that means dealers could stop receiving shipments this very moment, and it would still take 210 long days to sell through the existing inventory based on the current pace of demand. Remember, the sweet spot for healthy turnover in the automotive industry is closer to 60 days, perhaps stretching to 90 at most. Anything beyond that is a warning flare, and 210 is more than double the level that executives would consider safe. Now, let us look at the raw stock numbers. Across the United States, there are only 936 of these vehicles physically available for sale. That number may seem modest compared to the 20,000 Murano units we just discussed, but the context matters. During the previous 45 days, Infiniti dealers nationwide managed to move a mere 21 units. That is right, 21 vehicles out of 936. It is the definition of slow movement, a near standstill in sales momentum, and a costly headache for dealer principals who must carry that burden month after month. Price is another stumbling block. The average transaction for the QX55 hovers around $54,000 United States dollars. While that figure does not sound extreme compared to high-end German competition, it becomes problematic when shoppers realize what lies beneath the Infiniti badge. At its core, the QX55 shares DNA with Nissan's mainstream models. For seasoned buyers who know that fact, the idea of paying over 50,000 United States dollars for what feels like a dressed-up Nissan becomes a difficult pill to swallow. The luxury promise of Infiniti has eroded over the years, leaving this model stranded in an awkward middle ground where it is neither truly premium nor convincingly affordable. Historically, Infiniti once carried the swagger to stand toe-to-toe with Lexus, Acura, and even the Germans. The QX series was marketed as bold, athletic, and distinctly stylish. Yet in the current climate, that narrative has faded. Buyers searching for cutting-edge infotainment, hybrid options, or prestige gravitate elsewhere. Meanwhile, those seeking pure value see better deals in mainstream crossovers. The QX55, with its coupe silhouette and high sticker price, sits on the lot waiting for attention that rarely comes. From this vantage point, the lesson becomes clear. Design alone cannot carry a brand. Dealers holding QX55 models are learning that even an attractive exterior cannot rescue a vehicle when consumer trust in the badge itself has weakened. And with each passing month, those 210 days of supply do not shrink fast enough to bring relief. As our countdown continues, we leave behind this gussied-up Nissan and turn toward a vehicle that represents a bold electric gamble, one that is straining under the weight of lofty promises and sluggish buyer enthusiasm. Ford Mustang Mach-E. Shift your focus now to one of the boldest experiments in modern automotive history, a machine that carries the iconic Mustang name, yet travels down a completely different road. The Ford Mustang Mach-E was launched as the brand's electric revolution, a statement that muscles could merge with sustainability. In theory, it should have been a smash hit, blending heritage with forward-looking technology. But in September of 2025, the Mach-E is proving to be an albatross around dealer necks, piling up on lots and leaving sales managers scratching their heads. The key figure telling this story is the days supply. The Mach-E sits with a daunting 239 days supply. For perspective, the industry standard of health is closer to 60 or perhaps 90 days at the outer limit. 239 represents nearly 4 times that safe zone. What this means in practice is straightforward. If production stopped completely today, it would take dealers almost 8 months to sell through the existing inventory. That statistic alone paints the picture of sluggish demand despite all the marketing muscle Ford has invested. Now consider the physical inventory. Across the United States, there are 22,597 Mustang Mach-E vehicles sitting unsold. That number is massive. In the preceding 45 days, only 4,247 were delivered to buyers. When you set that sales figure against the towering supply, the imbalance becomes clear. Dealers are burdened with thousands of electric crossovers that are not moving at the speed expected for such a hyped product. Price also plays a role in the struggle. The average transaction amount hovers around $48,656 United States dollars. That sum places the Mach-E squarely into competition with well-established gasoline-powered sport utility vehicles offering longer range and faster refueling, as well as with rival electric vehicles that enjoy fresher reputations or better government incentives. For many American households, nearly $50,000 United States dollars feels steep for a vehicle that has not yet proven long-term durability or resale value. The irony here is rich. Ford leveraged one of its most sacred names, the Mustang, to breathe life into its electric ambitions. Enthusiasts expected raw power, and everyday drivers expected practicality. The Mach-E delivers speed, delivering instant torque from its electric motor, but range anxiety, charging infrastructure, and pricing concerns keep many potential buyers at arm's length. As a result, the same dealerships that once celebrated the arrival of an electrified Mustang now view rows of unsold Mach-E models as liabilities draining their balance sheets. This situation also illustrates the ticking clock of federal tax incentives. As those credits phase out after September of 2025, Ford faces even greater pressure. Between now and the close of the month, they may pour marketing dollars and extra incentives into clearing lots. But come October, the company itself will have to swallow larger discounts to maintain appeal, eroding profit margins further. Leaving behind this electric gamble, our countdown now shifts to a very different corner of the market, one defined not by volume, but by exclusivity and sky-high pricing. The next entry is a luxury brand whose badge carries weight, yet whose newest sport utility vehicle is struggling to find genuine buyers. Maserati Grecale. Among the glittering showroom floors filled with vehicles that promise luxury and exclusivity, there lies a striking Italian creation that has quickly become a symbol of unmet expectations. The Maserati Grecale was meant to usher in a new era for the storied brand, a sport utility vehicle designed to broaden the appeal of Maserati beyond exotic sedans and grand touring coupes. With its sharp lines, opulent interior, and Italian pedigree, it should have captured attention and wallets alike. Instead, in September of 2025, it is languishing in dealer inventories, proving that prestige alone does not guarantee sales success. The most telling figure in this unfolding story is the days supply. The Maserati Grecale carries an astonishing 258 days supply. Industry observers note that a healthy benchmark is somewhere around 60 days, with 90 days considered the outer edge of acceptable. 258 means dealers have nearly 9 months of unsold stock waiting for buyers. That immense backlog signals hesitation from customers who admire the Maserati name, yet stop short of committing to ownership, whether due to pricing, practicality, or concerns over long-term dependability. There are 631 Maserati Grecale models parked on dealer lots across the United States, yet only 110 sold in the last 45 days. That painfully slow pace equals just a handful each week. For Maserati's so-called entry model, supply far outweighs demand, disappointing expectations, and straining dealers monthly. Then there is the matter of cost. The average transaction price hovers close to $80,000 United States dollars. At that level, buyers are spoiled for choice. They can easily select a well-equipped luxury sport utility vehicle from established heavyweights, such as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, or Audi. Those brands carry deeper trust, wider dealer networks, and proven track records of service support. Against that competition, the Maserati Grecale, though beautiful and exclusive, becomes a harder proposition. Many potential buyers admire it in the showroom, but when faced with signing a finance agreement, they gravitate toward rivals that feel safer. The irony is that Maserati crafted the Grecale to be more approachable than the Levante, a model that had already struggled with sales volume. By shrinking the dimensions, refining the interior, and offering a variety of engines, Maserati hoped to bring younger buyers into the fold. Yet the outcome has been disappointment. Dealers now face the challenge of moving units that require aggressive incentives, undermining the very aura of exclusivity that Maserati seeks to maintain. When a luxury brand must discount heavily, its image suffers and prestige is eroded. As the countdown progresses, we leave behind the slow-motion struggle of an Italian marque that cannot find enough eager buyers. Ahead lies a very different challenge: an American nameplate attempting to revive itself with a compact sport utility vehicle that promised boldness but is instead piling up on lots. Let us now advance to the number 3 position. Dodge Hornet. Take a step onto almost any Dodge lot in September of 2025, and one model immediately grabs attention not for how fast it sells, but for how stubbornly it refuses to move. That vehicle is the Dodge Hornet, a compact sport utility machine that was marketed as the brand's entry into a fiercely competitive segment. The Hornet carried lofty expectations when it was unveiled, promising Italian-inspired design blended with American muscle attitude. Dealers envisioned it as a gateway to new, younger customers who might one day move into Chargers or Challengers. Instead, it has turned into a lingering reminder that bold promises do not always translate into strong sales. The Hornet is weighed down by an alarming 271 days supply. For context, healthy dealer flow is roughly 60 days, while 90 days already raises red flags. At 271, the Hornet sits with nearly triple the danger zone. In effect, if production were to cease right now, dealers would still face 9 months of inventory before clearing out their current stock. That glacial sales rate highlights just how much of a mismatch exists between corporate expectations and market reality. Nearly 3,000 Dodge Hornet vehicles sit unsold across the United States, while fewer than 500 moved in 45 days. Dealers face warehouses filling faster than they empty, forcing staff to push a model buyers barely recognize or reject against stronger Japanese, Korean, and domestic rivals. Pricing adds another complication. The average transaction price is $36,536 United States dollars. On the surface, that seems competitive, but when shoppers compare feature content, reliability history, and brand loyalty, the Hornet struggles. Many crossovers in the $30,000 United States dollar range offer hybrid options, advanced driver assistance systems, and reputations for lasting hundreds of thousands of miles. Against that backdrop, the Dodge Hornet feels untested, and in the minds of many, overpriced. Part of the Hornet's challenge stems from its origin story. The vehicle shares underpinnings with the Alfa Romeo Tonale, an Italian sibling that also faces slow sales in America. Enthusiasts may appreciate the European flair, but mainstream buyers tend to shy away from products that feel less familiar. Dodge attempted to give the Hornet aggressive styling cues and sporty marketing, yet the final product lands in an awkward middle ground, not quite rugged enough to pull in traditional sport utility buyers, and not affordable enough to lure budget-conscious families. For Dodge, a brand built on muscle and attitude, the Hornet was supposed to diversify the lineup and help dealerships capture crossover demand. Instead, dealers now battle with rows of unsold units that erode confidence. Heavy discounting and incentives become inevitable, reducing margins and tarnishing the vehicle's aura before it can gain traction. Leaving the troubled Hornet behind, we now accelerate toward a brand that took a very different gamble, one tied to British luxury and high sticker prices. That gamble has also backfired spectacularly, placing our countdown on a path to reveal the runner-up in slowest-selling sport utility vehicles. Jaguar F-Pace. It's a luxury sport utility vehicle that was supposed to carry the company into a new generation, now finds itself drowning in excess inventory and buyer hesitation. In September of 2025, the F-Pace is not merely struggling, it is nearly collapsing under the weight of slow demand and fading brand recognition. The Jaguar F-Pace carries a shocking 310 days supply. Compared to the healthy 60-day benchmark, this is extreme. If production stopped today, dealers would need over 10 months to sell existing stock, making it one of the slowest turnovers in the entire luxury market. The inventory count provides even more detail. Dealers across the United States are holding 2,751 units of the F-Pace. Over the past 45 days, only 399 vehicles were sold nationwide. That imbalance is striking. For every 7 vehicles parked in inventory, only 1 actually finds a buyer. The mathematics are brutal for dealers, who must pay ongoing financing costs to keep these unsold models sitting under bright showroom lights or out on crowded lots. Price does little to help the situation. The average transaction for the Jaguar F-Pace hovers around $70,000 United States dollars. While that number puts it in line with other premium sport utility vehicles, the brand equity behind Jaguar has diminished over the past decade. Buyers willing to invest $70,000 United States dollars often choose German rivals such as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, or Audi. These companies maintain stronger reputations for reliability, resale value, and technological leadership. Jaguar, by contrast, has struggled to convince shoppers that its products represent a smart long-term investment. The F-Pace once carried the weight of high expectations. Launched to great fanfare, it was hailed as the model that could finally push Jaguar into the mainstream luxury sport utility segment. Reviews initially praised its styling, handling, and performance options. Yet over time, as the industry rapidly advanced, the F-Pace stood still. Rivals introduced hybrid systems, advanced driver aids, and fresh interiors. Jaguar's offering began to feel stagnant, and in today's fast-moving market, stagnation translates directly into slow sales. For dealers, the consequences are painful. Large inventories force steep incentives, which in turn erode profit margins and tarnish the perception of exclusivity that a luxury brand requires. Customers walking into Jaguar showrooms are greeted with heavy discounts, a reality that sends a mixed message. Is this a premium product or a clearance item? That confusion damages the brand more deeply than slow sales alone ever could. As this countdown nears its conclusion, we leave behind the troubled Jaguar and turn to the single, slowest-selling sport utility vehicle of all. A story that embodies the challenges of mixing heritage, pricing, and consumer doubt into one unfortunate outcome. We're almost at the end of the countdown, but trust me, there's more coming. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and never miss these deep dives, go ahead and subscribe right now. That way, you'll always catch the latest updates before the market shifts again and leaves you behind. Lincoln Aviator. Reaching the very top of this countdown, the story shifts from disappointment to a full-scale problem that illustrates how a respected American luxury nameplate can stumble badly when expectations do not align with the realities of the market. The Lincoln Aviator, intended to be the brand's midsize luxury sport utility flagship, now holds the undesirable crown of slowest overall seller in September of 2025. Once envisioned as a competitor capable of challenging German stalwarts, the Aviator has instead become a lesson in oversupply, rising prices, and consumer hesitation. The defining statistic is the days supply. The Lincoln Aviator sits at a crushing 305 days supply. To put this in perspective, the target number that manufacturers aim for is around 60 days, while 90 days is already considered warning territory. 305 is more than 3 times that red alert level. That figure translates into nearly 10 months of unsold vehicles lingering in dealer inventories, even if Lincoln stopped building them today. Such a slow turnover not only frustrates dealers, but also signals a serious disconnect between production volume and actual consumer demand. Inventory figures make the challenge even clearer. Dealers across the United States collectively hold more than 4,000 units of the Aviator. Over the most recent 45 days, sales barely surpassed 700 vehicles. That imbalance is striking. For every 6 Aviators sitting in stock, only 1 is making its way to a driveway. The pressure on dealerships is intense, with floor plan financing costs mounting and showroom space consumed by vehicles that few customers are eager to claim. Then there is the question of price. The average transaction amount for the Aviator hovers around $71,000 United States dollars. While Lincoln positions itself as a domestic alternative to European luxury, many shoppers willing to spend $70,000 United States dollars or more ultimately lean toward BMW, Mercedes-Benz, or Audi. Those brands carry global prestige, stronger resale values, and reputations for advanced technology. Against such rivals, the Aviator, despite its plush interior and smooth ride, often feels overpriced. The Aviator's troubles are magnified by the overall identity crisis at Lincoln. For decades, the brand has struggled to carve a clear space between mainstream Ford products and high-end European competitors. While the Aviator offers a refined cabin, strong V6 powertrains, and a suite of safety technology, buyers perceive it as a dressed-up Ford Explorer rather than a distinct luxury statement. That perception alone erodes confidence at the price point, Lincoln asks. Dealers have been forced into discounting strategies that eat away at margins. Incentives climb higher each month as inventory stacks up, but those discounts also cheapen the brand's luxury image. Customers who encounter steep markdowns often assume the vehicle was overpriced to begin with, creating a vicious cycle of skepticism and hesitation. Crowning the Lincoln Aviator as the slowest overall seller in this countdown is more than symbolic. It highlights how even established American luxury names can falter when production is aggressive, pricing is ambitious, and branding lacks clarity. The Aviator's struggle stands as a stark warning. In today's market, prestige must be matched by true value and clear identity, or it risks being ignored altogether. Now, you've seen the vehicles dealers can't move. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Don't just scroll away. Hit like if this opened your eyes, drop your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed. The next market shift is coming fast, and you won't want to miss it.